Yo, what's going on? It's Keith Black Quarterback Series. And we got a little bit of a different video today. I was requested. I don't know if y'all saw my week, was it week 7? Week 7 review. Where at the end I talked about I was going to, so Wednesday is my off day. And so I was going to sit and watch him and any given Sunday at my mom's house as I watch my brother. So I definitely did that. And wow, two good movies. Two good movies. Like, him was really good. And even Sunday is good. It's a good family. I wouldn't say family movie, but it was made in '92, so you know the rules are different. But we'll get to Any Given Sunday in a minute because I think the main event of this show is what kind of sparked this. Him. So two main characters. Cameron Cade. I wish I knew bro's name because he absolutely destroyed this role. And Isaiah Wright, which is Marlon Wayans' character. So old guy teaching the new guy the ropes of becoming an how would you pronounce it? I guess an NFL superstar. To being an NFL superstar. And so he takes him to his house, and essentially that's where the movie begins. But all the epilogue and everything is even at the beginning and stuff we didn't even know up until the end. And I'm gonna spoil some of the movie, but I'm not finna like talk about every little bitty detail. I'm just going to give the PowerPoints. So, because the first thing I wrote was the trials and tribulations of being a star quarterback, and so it's a horror movie. So weirdness happens. So he ends up getting concussed before the combine. He gets concussed before the combine. Now you're watching this channel, so you're big in football, so you already know what that means. First of all, to me that's a little unrealistic because if you're that away of a number one pick, you don't even go to the combine. But for the sake of argument, he wanted to go to the combine, ended up getting stitches in his head, and that's a focal point through the whole rest of the movie because, you know, the NFL has a big thing with concussions. This was an NFL movie. Let's just keep it 100. It's like the movie Concussions. It's kind of in that vein of, we're not going to explicitly say we're talking about the NFL, but we're talking about the NFL and lower level college football or big time college football. Those are the two overarching leagues that this film is pretty much talking about. So the first big thing in the movie, and I'm sure I probably said it at the beginning because I did some videos as I was watching it, so I might have spoke on this at that point. The stitches in his head were symbolic, very very symbolic of what NFL quarterbacks go through. You get a concussion, it's like, bro, it's a concussion. What we talking about? Just go out there and play. Now, we're better now than we was at that time, but I mean, when I was a kid 15, 20 years ago, we didn't know nothing about concussions. I mean, to the point where we was at the point where the NFL was allowing Madden games or whatever football game is to bring the ambulance on the field. Like, that's how much they like didn't care about injuries like that, right? And so injuries play a big part in this movie too. So we're gonna get to that. So he ends up does the combine, but the movie does a really good job of illustrating that this concussion is serious, and he was like, one more big hit and it could absolutely ruin your career, right? So, I say humiliation rituals, right? So humiliation ritual, that's a big word, right? But when they ask Cameron to pull his clothes off, he just immediately was like, wait a minute, what? Pull his clothes off. He ends up getting naked, and they have to like measure him. That's a real thing. That's a legit real thing that they do at the combine. Now, he didn't have to get butt ass naked like he did, but they measured him and they went through all this stuff, you know. And Isaiah, I'm gonna keep reiterating Marlon Wayans' character, just talking to him like that's normal, but in this world it is. So at this point, they have went to Isaiah Wright's compound with this huge plot of land that he lives at and he trains on. To me, that is a nod to Patrick Mahomes' land. I think he had a house built somewhere in Kansas City or Missouri, some close to Kansas City in Missouri. And to me, that's kind of what that is. If you watch Quarterback on Netflix, that's a big part of that he had a home built. a home built for him because he's going to be in Kansas City for a long time. Which I think Cam's character is pseudo. Is like this relationship that Cam and Isaiah have is kind of akin to Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. It's a lot of everybody in this. It's a lot of everybody in this movie. But we're gonna get to that. So humiliation rituals. That's what the humiliation rituals. I put weird, unsolicited ways of recovery / blue tent. So everybody knows when you watch the NFL games that they go in that blue tent, right? We don't know what they sticking these players in. We know they're sticking them with something, right? So the doctor who's not too keen on doing this, and you can tell at the end of the movie, he actually kind of sells tells Cam he needs to go and ends up dying. But so the doctor is just not cool with this, right? Cool with what he's doing. But we don't know that at this point. The doctor's just sticking Cam with everything. And you can see he stuck Cam with the stuff. And it goes like this big old blot on his head to essentially stop the bleeding and stop your head from hurting. These are real things. Shannon has spoke about this, like getting poked around and like putting something in you, sticking in this part so this part don't hurt, stick it up here so this don't hurt. Like that's a real thing that they do. So like to me that meant that was the first thing I thought about. It was like the blue tent that they the big old blue tent that they put over. If I edit this video, I'll put some of that over. But like we don't know what they're doing in there, and they're probably sticking these players with anything. That was a big plot point of this, that they were sticking the players with pretty much anything. So crazy training regimens. This might be the most graphic part of the movie because the movie is not as graphic as I thought it would be. But this is a big point of the movie. If anybody's played football, you know we do some weird shit. It's just what it is. Like up downs, bird crawls. When you get in trouble, you might roll 50 yards as the punishment with your big ass helmet on. So it's like weird rituals in football are not crazy in nature, right? But this takes it to a whole new level. Like he's trying to teach Cameron. Isaiah is trying to teach Cameron to rely on himself and to be ready to throw the ball at the drop of a hat, right? Has him close his eyes and everything. And so the thing that shoots the footballs out, he has a receiver sit here. They have a whole group of free agent receivers come. Whole few of free agent receivers come. And so the white guy is standing next to the thing where you shoot the footballs in. And so I forgot what it's called. And so anytime Cam or somebody drops a pass, this guy gets hit with the footballs to the point where they damn near broke this man's face off. Like, I'm talking about they shooting these footballs so much. And Cam's like, bro, what are we doing? Like, what is this? And so Cam gets into it with the receivers, and Isaiah is like, White. His name is Isaiah White, not White. Right. I think I said right in the other video. It's White, not right. So, yeah. So Isaiah is so confused, and by this point, Isaiah is a good, not Isaiah. Cam is a good kid. He like is faith based, family based, like so he's essentially like being broken down to his lowest common denominator at this point. But at this point in the movie, Cam is still like, what the hell is going on, right? So after Cam figures that out, 1, 2, 3, blah blah blah, he goes to talk to the dude that's been getting blasted with these footballs in his face because the receiver's dropping passes, and the guy's just like, that's just what it is. That's just what we do. That's just how it is. There are NFL players that talk like that. Well, this is what I do. Like, it is what it is. That's kind of the nature of the business, right? So I thought that was a very important scene because it's like, what the hell? But the dude who was getting hurt knew this was a part of it and then ends up telling White, I appreciate this opportunity. Like, bro, sick individuals, bro. You got to be a sick individual to play this game. And that's, yeah. That also goes into the relentlessness of football, hard training, running. There was a point where they was running and Isaiah fainted and not Isaiah, Cam faded and He had to go get the oxygen mask and all that other stuff. Just the relentlessness of being a perfectionist. Um, to me, I feel like this movie's about Tom Brady. I feel like this movie's about Tom Brady. When they were sitting in the sauna and Cam was talking to Isaiah, and he was talking about how he feels like he can do it better than anybody else, and that he doesn't what's the word for it? He thinks he can do it better than anybody else, and if he retires, he's gonna sit there and be like, I could do it better if y'all da 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 da. And it kind of goes into the alternate ending that we'll talk about later, where that kind of actually happens. But that some of these weird regiments and all this, that feels like a keen or a nod to what Tom called it, TB12. When Tom was doing TB12, people was like, "What are you doing? You doing these weird calisthenics? You only eating this amount? You doing all these weird things?" Like, it kind of feels like it's kind of a spiritual, more satanic um, successor to that. Like, that's what I feel like. A lot of this base movie is kind of about Tom Brady and Pat. More dramatized, but not too far from the truth, right? So, giving blood. When so we fast forward a lot of stuff, and so at the end when Cam and Isaiah are fighting to see who's going to be the next quarterback, um, he ends up waking up, and Cam realizes that Isaiah's been giving him his blood, and he's like, "What the? Why have you been?" Drags his way into the thing, and we find out what film was. Film was essentially just validation from the fans. Like, for me, that's what I got from it. It looked like just validation. His film was validation, because he would always say, "I gotta go watch film. I gotta go watch film," and he just in this thing looking up like at fans and cheers, like validation. That's, to me, that's what it is. Like, most NFL players when they retire, or players when they retire, they don't miss the media, they don't miss none of that. They miss the fans, and they miss the locker room. I ain't played football since 2013, and I miss the locker room stuff, right? I didn't play on a high enough level for the fans to be a factor, but yeah. So, but the giving blood thing I thought was symbolic, to be like, because Isaiah ended up saying, you got the blood from me, and I got the blood from him, and he got the blood from him. Like, to me, that feels like organizational stuff. Like, that seems like, I'm not gonna call it a Green Bay nod, but that kind of feels like a Green Bay thing. Like, Bart Starr to Brett Favre, from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. Like, we're gonna keep this going like this, and we're gonna implement little pieces from this quarterback into this one, into this one, into this one. Like, that's what that looked like it was to me. So yeah, and so at the end, and we're gonna talk about the end right now. Like, this end was crazy. Now, my mentor kind of spoiled this ending for me already, and so I knew what was coming. But just to see it happen is crazy. So after he beats Isaiah, it comes to find out that essentially he was groomed to be this. He was groomed to be him, right? And his dad, and this is just me, the movie doesn't say this explicitly, but it comes out that Cam has been groomed to be this way. And the owner of, I think that his name's the Saviors, that owner has a picture with Cam's dad. And when Cam said he was done playing football, a month later his dad passes. I think that guy killed his father. Now, they don't say that explicitly in the movie, but it's kind of implied, right? And so Cam's like, "No, I'm not signing this contract." And that same guy's like, "I'm gonna have your whole family killed. Sign this contract." And he's like, "No, I'm not doing it." And proceeds to slaughter all of the white men, which symbolizes the owners and the figureheads, and everybody, all the Jewish people up top. That's what that symbolizes. And, like, to me, that's going against the system. I think it was a great end. My only problem with the end is that we don't get to see what Cam does next. Like, does Cam stay in football? Does he not go in football? Because he has a brilliant monologue. The monologue is absolutely brilliant, where he talks about his dad died a month after he stopped playing football, and so he started playing football again to feel close to his dad, and da 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 da. And so that's where we learned about all of that. And I think, like, if I was writing, they don't need to be a second one. I don't think you can even make a second one. But I think he stops playing football at that point. That feels like that's the end of that story. Like, he stops playing football and go lives a regular life, or like is a coach or something. Like, it doesn't feel like there's a true like second tier to that. But so the alternate ending is he does all that, he signs the contract, and then he goes to win another championship. Essentially signs his soul away and then goes to the championship. That ending to me is way too cliche. And then it shows Isaiah like all decrepit, you know what I mean, after getting beat up because he survived the encounter with all his rings on, flicking off the camera and everything. I don't like that ending because that makes it seem like, yeah, just do it. You know what I mean? Just do it. So I'm glad they went with the ending they went with. You can see why people didn't like that ending, but so yeah, that was him. That was him. Let me give these this phenomenal actor his credit because his name is Tyreek Withers. Tyreek Withers. Excellent, excellent, excellent actor. Excellent actor. So this one's gonna be a little faster because this movie is very kind of typical. Any given Sunday. So Jamie Foxx, LL Cool J, Lawrence Taylor, Pacino, and it's a star-studded cast, right? Definitely '90s football. They was hitting the quarterback. I was like, bro, why? Why y'all hitting him like that? And then have to remember this is '90s football. Um, Essentially, to me, the whole premise of the movie was new versus old. From the new coach versus the old coach, from Willie Beeman versus the old quarterback, from the old doctor versus the new doctor. Like, everything was new versus old at this point. And then the old guy had to learn how to overcome that. Heavy racism as usual. Black quarterback agenda was very rampant here when Willie Beeman talks about how he was forced to change positions and he hurt himself and college football didn't give a F about him and blah, blah, blah. And then Al Pacino's character hits him with the, well, don't play the race card thing. That's like a real conversation that people have had. Like, it's it's frustrating to see it on TV, but no, that's the whole black quarterback agenda was here. Now, Willie Beeman didn't have to learn how to be a leader. I'm not gonna say he didn't have to learn how to be a leader, but he did eventually, in typical movie fashion, learn how to be a leader. I feel like the ending of this movie was kind of realistic. I think it was kind of realistic, but kind of not realistic. Um, like in real life, they would have fired that coach way before they did. The fact they let him drag on that long, that I don't think that would happen in real life. So, shout out to Jamie Foxx. Shout out to everybody that was in that movie. It was a great movie. It was a good movie. I just happened to watch it after him, and it was kind of a letdown in that aspect. But yeah, it's typical sports movie. Like, there's really not much to take away from it, other than it was a good movie. Um, I wouldn't say it's overrated, but like, it's like okay. So, but yeah, good movie, good movie, good movie. So that's it. That's pretty much all I got for you guys. Let me know if y'all want me to do more movie reviews like this and stuff like this. And I'll talk to you guys probably. Let's see. I don't know if we got a Thursday night game this week, but if we do, I'll talk to you guys later on today. If not, I'll see you next week.